say.
I believe I'm recording. Let's see. Am I recording? Yes, I am recording. So, what is up, guys? It's your boy Elijah back again with another video. I know my voice sound a bit deep. I'm kind of sick. I don't got COVID, just got a little cold. But yeah. Anyways, my friend asked me to do this since he's seen that I've been playing Valorant a lot lately. So he asked me to play this, do this what if for him, and I'm like, yo, this is kind of a pretty sick idea, since I was originally gonna do what if Deku was Kaio and Yaru's son, but he asked me to do this one, so I'm finna do it. This is what if Deku was Viper and Omen's son. So yeah, Hasashi is Omen and Inko is Viper. Alright, so how this world works in this AU, pretty much, people have powers, quirks, someone call them. Some people get their powers from cybernetics, but the majority of people that live in lower classes get thrown into a death battle, a battle of death to earn money and get fame. And through this series, Deku, the son of two of the most highest ranking death participants, has to try to not only get out of this, but make his dream of becoming a pro come true, even with his record of murder. So let's see how this will go. So we follow Deku as he's born with green eyes like his mother, and his father, I don't want him to have green eyes, so he's born with blue eyes and blackish blue hair, just like his father. As Sashi would say, oh, it's a boy. Well, I guess I already knew that. What do you think we're gonna name him, darling? As Inko / Viper would say, how about Izuku Midoriya? As Hasashi would say, yeah, that's a nice name, darling. As a few days would go by, Inko's getting healed up after, giving birth to Deku, and they would take Deku home. As for the next few years, and when Deku's 4, he's taken to the quirk evaluation doctor, as they're told that he has 2 quirks. His first quirk is pretty much exactly like Hasashi's, and she says he has the exact same abilities. I guess he can use that step where you're able to like see things. I don't know, like I know you could teleport, but I don't know what else you can do. I don't really be paying attention, as Hasashi's like, you don't need to name the abilities. He can probably create his own later. So what is second quirk? It's exactly like his mother's. Like, I know his mother's own runs off of fuel she creates, but it seems like Deku's toxin capacity is way higher than Inko's own was, so he can probably use a lot more skills than Inko did. As Inko's like, wow, he's so strong. As Hasashi would say, yes, my boy is strong. As the quirk doctor would say, well, that's it, I hope you guys enjoyed your visit. As she would give Deku a candy cane as they would be on their way in. Once they get home, Hasashi would tell Deku that he's going to train Deku to become the best, to help Deku achieve whatever dreams that he has, as Deku in his household is the best. Now he won't be cocky, but he's strong. Now, by the time he was, I say, seven, he already kind of got a handle over his powers or abilities, as Deku, can use Shrouded Step pretty easily. He can also use Paranoia, but that's all he can use after all of these years, since these abilities are quite complicated. So Deku is going to school, as Deku is still too young to participate in the death game, to move higher up in the systems, so he can leave this trash place and bring his family with him, as that's how it works in AU. So yeah, as Deku would go to school and he would study really hard, and he actually, has quite a liking to snake venom, as he, knows that different sorts of venoms have different side effects. There's some venoms that can kill a human in an instant, and uh, others that'll probably take days to kill you. As Deku is fascinated by it, since it is part of his quirk where he can give off larger capacities of toxin than his mother could. As later on that day, Deku would get home and start training with his father, as Hasashi would teach Deku the way of a gun. He would teach Deku how to use a classic, a Ghost, a Phantom, and a few other different weapons. He would teach Deku how to use, as Deku would be pretty skilled in marksmanship by the time he was 12, and he also liked using knives as well as using his ability. Oh my gosh, I already forgot what it was called, and I just played a game of Valorant. It was like a poison cloud, I believe. It was like a bomb, like a frag type poison cloud, yeah. As Deku enjoys using those things, as one day, I say Deku's around 13, 14 years old, and he has about a year or two left until he's old enough to enter the death game. As Deku's sleeping, and Hasashi would hear a noise in the house, as Hasashi would pull a classic from under his bed, as he would be walking through the house, since their floors are carpet, so there's no cracks and creaks, as Hasashi would see 12 men inside of his house eating his food, and they all have guns and weapons. They seem to be ability users, as well as Hasashi notices one of the person, as he's thinking, is that it can't be Yaru? Why is he, of all people, breaking into my house? Like, I know him and Phoenix was cool, me and him wasn't really that cool, but still, the amount of times we teamed up. I I thought he had a thing. Is he trying to kill my son or something? No way he's after me. As Sachi would come out from behind the wall as he's like, "What are you doing here?" As Yaru would pull out his gun as he says, "Hasashi, I thought you were asleep." As Hasashi says, "No, I'm not asleep. What are you doing here? How did you get into my house?" As Yaru would say, "Oh well, I came in through the door." As Hasashi would see the door broken down into crumbled pieces. As Hasashi would say, "What do you want?" As Yaru would say, "Oh, nothing. You see, they promised me a way out. All I have to do is just kill you, your wife, and your child. Especially your child. Your child is too strong. You see, the majority of people who had children, they didn't get both of their parents' abilities. Of course, besides Jet and Phoenix's daughter, Aya, but she'll be dead next after I kill you, Hasashi." As that's when they will both pull the trigger at each other, both shooting each other, therefore causing Inko and Deku to wake up. As Inko would grab a ghost and go downstairs as she would see the people, Hasashi clenching his shoulder and Yaru clenching his gut as he was shot in the stomach, but luckily for him, it missed all vital organs. As he would say, well, I guess luck is on my side today, and it seems like the whole family's lined up. I can kill them all here." As he snaps his fingers, as his goons would point machine guns, rifles towards the family, as Sasachi would say, "Go!" Hus, as Inko would pick up Deku running with them upstairs. As upstairs there's actually a way back downstairs, but into a secret basement. As Inko and Deku goes there, as Inko locks the door behind them as they're underground. As Deku sees a whole bunch of weapons and Inko and Hasashi suits, as well as some toxin refuels. As Deku's thinking, "Wow, this place is crazy." As Inko's like, "Son, stay here." As Inko puts on her snake pit on her arm, as well as she grabs a few frags as she would go up to investigate. As Deku can hear everything that goes on. As Inko says, "Hasashi, no!" As you hear gunshots, then you hear a body hit the floor. Then you hear two more. Then you hear two simultaneous gunshots going off and two bodies hitting the floor. As Deku would go upstairs slowly, not wanting to make any noise, as he sees everybody dead. His mother dead, his father dead, the people that broke into the house dead, Yaru dead. As Deku would call the cops, as he would be in the corner shaking out of fear, out of paranoia. He he feels scared. He never felt scared in his life, as he knows that he was the one being targeted. But luckily for him, he has nothing else to lose. But still, he don't want to lose his life. Then that's just an insult to his mother and father. As the police would arrive, kicking open the door and seeing all the dead bodies, and a boy shivering in place. As the police would pick up Deku, taking him to the ambulance, as they would sit him down, wrapping him in a towel, as they would take him off to the hospital as more trucks would arrive carrying the dead bodies to the morgue as Deku's being questioned as he says very few of what he knows since he doesn't know much. He would sleep through the majority of the confrontation, he would say, as the police officers would say. So, so it seems like this was some sort of gang or something. As Deku's like, my father wasn't related with no gangs, neither was my mother. They were targeting me because I'm special. You see, my mother and father was thrown into that death game, Valorant, and I was the only child besides, from what I heard, this other kid named Iona, I believe her name was, to have both of my parents' powers. So he targeted me, saying that they, I'm guessing the creators of the death game, promised him a free way out if he kills me and my family. As the police said, thank you, kid. Thank you, kid, for all of this information. This will really come in handy in the future, kid. As Deku says, yeah, can I go now? As the police say, yeah, we should recommend a orphanage. As Deku says, no need. As he leaves the police station, as he will walk home, as he's getting ready for his mother mother and father's funeral in 2 days. As through those days, Deku was just going through his dad's stuff since he never really got the chance to snoop around or anything. As he finds some of his dad's books and weapons, and he would also find a suit idea for Deku. It was still in creation, but it was a combination of both Deku's father's and mother's suit. As as Deku says, I should complete the build. It said it's in the secret chamber down there somewhere. If I find it, I'll most likely complete it. As Deku would put the papers down, going to bed in his mother and father's bed. As Deku would wake up with a terrible nightmare of his family dying again. But he has a loop dream where he sees it over and over and over and over again, and it feels like hours, but he's only been asleep for 30 minutes. As Deku d- does not go to sleep for the next 2 days. He's taking 5-hour energy drinks and Red Bull and Bang, trying to keep himself awake, drinking coffee. But then he's starting to have dreams with his eyes open, having the same dreams, I should say, of either his family getting killed by Yaru or him killing his family himself. As Deku can't take it anymore, as he contemplates suicide, but he says no. Like I said before, if I die, that's that's only an insult to my family. As Deku gets dressed for his mother and father's funeral, as some of their friends from the Death Game will come to greet Deku, such as Phoenix and Jet, as well as Kaio and a few other people, as they would be there to comfort Deku, as some of them even offered to adopt Deku, but he refuses their request, as Deku requests for his mother and father to be cremated. As they're like, "Are you sure it wasn't?" As Deku's like, "Please do it. I'll pay you as much as you want." They're like, "Sure, kid. It'll be free of charge." This is such a hard time, as they would cremate Inko and Hasashi, putting them in custom urns for Deku, as Deku would hang them up, giving them a shrine with their pictures there, as he would light incense for them, as after a few weeks would pass by, Deku started going to a bit of therapy to get over his trauma, as between therapy, school, and Deku were working on his suit. He never really got no sleep at all. So one day Deku doesn't show up for therapy, school. He's home just sleeping, as he's actually sleeping peacefully, but he don't know why. Does he's contemplating why? Does he feel sorry for them that they're dead? Does he feel anger because they were so weak that they died? He doesn't understand why he's able to sleep so peacefully after all of these weeks. But he takes it, and he sleeps for about 2 days straight, as people are getting worried for him, knowing that both of his parents died in that brutal accident, as they go to check up on Deku, as I'm gonna say Phoenix, a old friend of hers, Sashi's, had a key to the house, as he would go in seeing Deku sleep, as he would call Deku school, since his daughter goes to the exact same school, but she's a grade younger than Deku, as well, they're the same age, but she got held back for fighting during a test, which was an automatic e- expulsion, and she wasn't able to complete the test to get to the next grade. As he would call the school on her Sashi's behalf, telling them that Izuku might be gone for a few more days, since he hasn't been getting any rest between therapy and other stuff, as they say. When we understand, sir, we're going to make those after, since he had it excused, so they won't go against his record. But please, sir, make sure he gets back, since we have a really important exam coming up pretty soon, sir. As Phoenix will say, yes, I will. As 3 hours later, Deku would finally wake up. As Deku would wake up to a man in his house that he have seen before. As Deku says, "Who are you? I believe I've seen you before." As he's like, "Yes, my name's Phoenix. I'm a old friend of your father's. Play. We were in the death game together." As Deku's like, "Oh, really?" As he's like, "Yeah, my wife is Jet, daughter. I forgot your daughter's name. What's your name? I believe it was Inu, right?" No, 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 no. That's her nickname. Name is her name is actually Tosca. Oh, Tosca. Okay. As Phoenix would say, yeah, my daughter's name is Tosca. She has white and red hair. Now I know you might be thinking, oh, so pretty much she's female Shoto, right? No, she's not, because Jet has wind powers, not ice powers. So yeah. Anyways, as Deku says, so what are you doing here? As he's like, just watching after a old friend's child. As Deku's like, I don't need watching after. The people that used to watch over me died. As Phoenix like, yeah, I know, and it's sad, but you have to get over death, kid. Death comes and goes. If you're going to be in a death game like Valorant, you have to learn how to cope with death. Your teammates would die on a daily. Do you understand that, kid? So you gotta grow a pair of balls and get over it. Alright, kid? As Dick is like, you think I don't know that? But it's not like just some random people that I met in a death game. They're my parents. They they gave birth to me. They brought me into this world. I can't just get over them like that. As Phoenix says, yeah, I know. But kid, losses come and go. Alright? You'll lose family. You'll lose friends. You'll lose your parents. But you gotta get over it. You can't sit and mope. Because it's not what they would want. Do you ever think about that, kid? What your father would think if he seen you sitting here moping around, acting like a little baby, instead of going out there living your life, being a true man. That's what your father is all about. How do you think he would feel seeing this? As Deku would put his head down as he'll say, yeah, you're right. uh, I guess I just let my feelings get the best of me, I guess, in the heat of the moment. Sorry for yelling at you, Phoenix, as he's like, no problem, kid. As Phoenix would say, well, I called the school saying you're most likely going to be gone for a few more days, so you have about like 2 more days of party, or I mean absences. Then they're gonna put it against you. As he's like, all right. As Phoenix would leave the house, as Deku would go down and work on his suit. As Decky's like, wow, I'm finally done after a few hours of working on it. As Deku's suit is done, as Decky's like, all right, now that my suit is done, I should work on a few weapons, huh? As Deku makes a custom Phantom and Ghost, as well as a custom knife, which they don't have any special powers, but their damage is increased by a lot, since the people in the death games are really resilient, where they can take multiple shots and still be moving like nothing even happened. As Deku did say, plus these people do got powers, and I heard that there is sometimes where the creator of the game is generous and gives people extra life, which is crazy. A power that can bestow life. It's like we're dealing with the real God. As Deku would, work on a few guns, and during the next 2 days, he would kind of train his quirk, kind of getting the hang on all of his father's powers. As 1 or 2 days is up, Deku would ultimately return to school. As everybody, is asking Deku questions, if he's alright, how has he been, what is he gonna do? But Deku's just ignoring them, except for one person's question. One person, and this person is Tosca, as he would answer all of her questions, since Deku feels like he knows her, like he knows who she is. She's Phoenix and Jet's son, but he feels a closer connection, like their hearts are intertwined, their souls are one, their bodies are fused together, like they are two living beings in one body, but they're separate people. Every time he sees her, he gets this weird sensation, but Deku always blows it off, saying it's probably just some weird thing doing with her powers. As Deku can't help but just admire her beauty, her strengths, her womanly talents. As we would skip through the first year of middle school, it is now summer, and Deku moves on to training. Now he's training his mother's powers, and he's also enhancing his marksmanship. And Deku realizes the let's say he was using his father's powers, his eyes would glow blue, but when he's using his mother's powers, his eyes would glow green, which I guess is an indication on which one of his parents' powers he would be using, which I guess is pretty good unless he's facing a enemy that knows what they mean. Which means if he ever comes across a traitor, that's bad, since he knows, and they most likely will know weaknesses. So I gotta find a way. As Dick is like, wait, that's what my father's mask is for. I can make it always create blue energy, so they'll think I'm always using my father's powers. But no, this would be hard. As Dick is like, you know what? Who even cares? Is as Deku just stops thinking and finishes training for the day. As Deku would put on his new suit, as he would then leave his house after praying to his mother and father. As Deku would, leave out to a small kind of alleyway death game between low level power users or quirk users or whatever you want to call them. as as the average wages are from 1,000 yen to 15,000 yen, which is pretty good. As Deku comes there in his omen suit, as everybody looks at him saying, Omen, huh?" As they're like, "No, he has Viper's tools. That must be their son. What should we call you then?" As Deku says, "Just call me by my father's name, Omen. I like it. The spawn of the devil. Kind of like Damien, don't you think?" As they're like, I like this kid. As Deku goes against a person, as they are put in their own custom arenas. As Deku's there, pretty much just b hopping until until they say start. And if you don't know what b hopping is, it's pretty much constantly jumping so the enemy can't get a clear target on you. You're constantly jumping to the left and right while you're still moving, so the enemy can't get a perfect lock on you. So yeah, Deku's B jumping as when they say start, Deku uses his ability Shrouded Step to teleport on the roof as he's running with a gun in hand. As Deku is see the man as he absorbing his powers. As Deku drops down to where the guy just said what he thinks is a trap. As Deku jumps down and jumps back as he sees that it explodes. As Deku's like, explosions, huh? As Deku tests it more, as Deku still can't get what his powers is. As Deku confronts him face to face as he's about to shoot. As Deku would say, "Sir, since I'm about to die, could you at least tell me what your powers are?" As he's like, "Yes, anything I touch, I can turn into explosions, and I have two different abilities, unlike other people, and I also have a passive, which is I can explode anything I touch. My first ability is actually a flash, as I can create a flash in the air with an explosion, and then I have an ultimate where I explode everything around me in a 10-meter radius." The deck is like, "Oh, thank you." And the deck is like, "Well, you can't do that." As Deku quickly pulls out his pistol and shoots the guy in the leg as he drops his gun, but the guy quickly picks it back up as he gets ready to shoot towards Deku as Deku teleports behind him, shooting him in the head. As Deku earns the money, as Deku would go home, as Deku would say, "Man, I never got to use my mom's abilities." As Deku's like, "Well, who cares?" As Deku would go back home and going to sleep. And that's where I'm gonna leave this one off. I hope you guys love this video. Oh my gosh, I spent so much time thinking of this idea. Like thinking what I'm gonna do overall for this idea is kind of like a professional whatever scripting, pretty much. But I do it in in my head since when I read I stutter and stuff like that. So yeah, but I really hope you guys liked it and peace.